Hello everybody, welcome to a little bit of tuition, really, a tutorial on how to put together the boxes that are on Minecraft Studio Minecraft overlays, okay? So this is one of our USBs that we've released and it is just fabulous. So on this one, you've got lots of different overlays to be able to use. So in front of me, as you can see on my mat, I have actually got the heart box cut out, but I just want to share with you how it works. So you would bring on any of your papers. So look here, look, I've got sparkles, I've got a little bit of glitter. Okay, so that's all you do is bring on the colourway that you like, and then you drag on the overlay images over the top of what you're actually wanting to print and then send it to print. Now, I don't know if you can see probably a bit better. Let me find one that's, because that's a little bit, there we go. There we go, that's a bit easier. And this is the one I'm actually building. So you can actually see the overlay. When you place the overlay on, you've got this template pattern as well, okay? So you've got all of these dash lines and all of these snip lines. So you drag it on, choose your background that you want, what your colour you want the box made from, bring over your overlay and print it off. So then all you need to do is snip round and cut them out with a pair of scissors, okay? Couldn't be any easier. It's so easy to do. Once you've cut them all out, you also need to snip into your little pieces. So wherever there's a line, where there's a dash, it's a score line. Where it's solid, you cut. So on the actual pieces, the side pieces, these are dashed lines. So I've gone ahead and scored, okay? And then also when you're looking at it, one is slightly smaller than the other. So the large one is the lid. And this is the lid because it's we've put the detail in the lid around the edge of the lid. So that's the lid. The smaller one is the base. So they're the base pieces. And all of these boxes, whether it be the square, the circle, the bottle box, it doesn't matter what it is, they all assemble the same way. Now, I know in the printout, the building sheets, you've only got one set of photos, and that is because you still do the same thing. We've put one together with a set of step-by-steps, but we didn't need to do another one because the actual build of the project is exactly the same, okay? Couldn't be any easier. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is where I've got a tab, I'm going to glue to a straight edge. Yep. So a little bit of wet glue. Now, it works a lot easier and it's a lot, you don't get as much like residue or squidgeability if you actually spread it out like that, okay? You can use a brush if you wish to, but you know, at the end of the day, fingers are just the best for doing this. And I've got that tab and I'm putting it to a straight edge. So because we've already got, and it will move about, etc. And your glue, this pin flare glue does dry clear. Just pop my glasses on because I want to make sure you have to be, you know, quite precise with lining it up to make sure you get a really nice edge. And then if you do get a white mark, a little bit of ink on there will soon disguise it. So that is where we are at the moment. So we now can start building the heart and gluing it together. I'm not going to do that last tab until I get round to the other side. So the printed piece needs to be on the outside edge. Now this is entirely up to you with this because obviously it's the inside. You can actually print these double-sided. So then both sides, as the lovely Angie's written on here, that this is the base, okay? So it's up to you how you then build it. Do you build it with the imagery on the inside, so when they open it, or on the outside? But for this one, I'm going to go with the outside. So to start off with, all those snips have been made. Bring them all in, like so. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the first few, okay, on both sides. And then I'm going to use my finger and spread it out. And the reason I'm spreading it out is because I want it right to that edge. I want edge to edge coverage of these tabs, okay. Just spread it out, make sure I've got it right to the edge, like so. And then I'm going to start with the point. So little by little, because I've got that fold, I'm going to start building. Now I'm just going to hold it for a second on these first few, and then I can flip it over and work flat on the surface, okay? So I'm just going to let that start to stick. And you do have to be patient. Well, I know us crafters, we can be a little bit, right, I want it to stick now. You can, if you wanted to, use red liner tape. But I find when I'm using construction like this, I find red liner tape, as a personal opinion, just for me, is a little bit dangerous, because I get a little bit all sticky happy and I end up with things stuck together that really shouldn't have been, which is then I've got to pull it all apart or print it again. Okay, so that's that side in situ. And then again, lining it up, helping it along with the other side. So I'm actually going to turn this over now, and I can add a little bit of pressure. So once you've got round the curve, doing a build, any build, the curved ones are your worst ones, because obviously you've got to keep shaping your cardstock around and moulding it around different elements, okay? So I'm quite happy from this side. Just make sure I've pressed all of that down and it's quite secure. So I'm going to fold back the other tabs, a little bit of glue. Some of them may overlap because it's going around a curve, but that's all okay. So remember, score on the dash, cut the straight, and now I've got it going, I can now build from the flat. Okay, so I'm building on the flat side, so I know it meets where it actually needs to meet. All I've got to do is make sure that I'm keeping it shaped. Pick it up, have a little look. I'm happy. Bend it a little bit further around that corner. Hold it in situ for a few seconds so it allows that glue to start grabbing, because the glue has got to soak into where you've applied the glue and also the piece that hasn't got glue on it, okay? So you need that bond to start happening. Like this. Now that is sticking, I can go over to this side. Hold it in place. I'm going to fold these over so they're out my way. It's really quite easy to build these. It's just having that little bit of patience to allow the glue to set. And there's some beautiful, fabulous colourways on this for you to be able to use. So all your boxes, obviously there's a bottle box on there, which is wonderful. And then you have got your other boxes. But imagine if you're somebody that does jewellery making, these are going to be your boxes to go to. Imagine making these boxes, and you don't have to use the colourways that we've got on here. Obviously in Minecraft Studio, you can change all of your colourways. Doesn't have to be this colourway. You can have them as favour boxes. You can do many other things with these, or even bring on your 2 red robins imagery, which again would look beautiful. So I'm now applying glue to the next few pieces. And bringing that round. Now I'm going to spread it out so I've got it distributed on the whole tab, like so. Feed it round. And I do like using wet glue for this, like I say, because I have tripped myself up in the past by using red liner tape, and I've ended up in a little bit of a sticky mess. Again, let that contact start happening. Having my hand next to it as well, the heat from my hand will also help with this process of drying the glue. I know it's popped away, I'm not particularly bothered. So on this side, I'm actually going to apply some glue and allow it to start going off. So when I actually stick it to its little side piece, so that's that, it's already super sticky because it started going off, which is sometimes how I work with the projects that I make. I'll put extra glue on to other elements and just sit them to one side. I work quite quickly, but then you can work a lot quicker because the glue is a bit tackier. It started drying out. So, again, all the way around. A little bit of patience. You would take more time than I am because I'm rushing through it a little bit. I've got a few of my tabs that have just come away a second. So again, while I'm waiting for that, if I fold these over, I can now apply glue to these tabs. And like I say, some of them will overlap, but that is fine because you're going round a corner at the end of the day, you're going along a curve. So going around that curve, you will find that you do get some overlapping. And at the moment, because we're going around that bend, it does tend to want to try and spring. So if I put a curl in my cardstock, it won't spring as much, like so. And again on this side, but now we're coming right round and meeting on this edge. And because they're quite nice size boxes, they're not too big that you're having to peg things together, and they're not too small that you can't actually get your hands in to be able to do this, which is just brilliant. Unless you want to resize them, of course, because that is also an option that you've got. So I'm happy that that's stuck. Again, push these over. More glue on the tabs. Bring it all the way around until we get back here. And then this last tab, I'm going to put some glue on this tab because it will actually help keep it together. Spread it out again so I get right to the edges, because that also helps a lot. And on this one, once you come in here, it folds back. Can you see the tab to a straight edge again? But I'm rushing, so let's just allow that glue to actually do the glue thing, like we should. So all the way around. And it meets up beautifully, like so. Give it a pinch so I can. So we have actually built the hardest shape for you, okay? So the trickiness We've made the most complicated one because the other ones are going to seem very easy compared to this. Okay, so at home, when you're doing this, you're going to say, oh my word. So don't be afraid of doing these boxes because they are really easy at the end of the day. All it is you've got to remember a tab to a straight edge. Super easy. You can't put a tab to a tab. Must be a tab to a straight edge. And as long as all these little tabs, you've snipped into them enough that you can actually create the shape. Again, really super easy. But we've made, on purpose, we did the more complicated box because once you've seen us build this one, the others are going to be a breeze. So now if I turn that over, you can see that it's all, you can see where the template is. So again, if you don't want to see that, that is fine. Just go around it with an ink. Okay, a little bit of ink in where you've got the white elements. So that is the base. So now I can set that to one side. I know it's all secure and I'm happy with that. Now we're going to go to the next one. Now, normally I would hold this against a piece of, against the desk. In fact, I can do that. You can see me, can't you, Andrew? If I go like this, am I still in shot? Just curve that, run it down the edge. Ta-da! Same again. Hold on to it and then just roll it down the side of the desk. Now, it's going to make it a bit easier for me to actually build, okay? So again, tabs, 2 tabs, and we're going to put this tab on. So a little tab, the smaller tabs because this is the detail. I always lay it flat because I have been known to put this on upside down, so I end up with a frill one way and a frill the other. You know, when you're rushing and you're not concentrating. So again, a little bit of precision, make sure I've got that lined up properly. Sit that to one side, and then this is the lid, and the lid is actually bigger, okay, much bigger, okay, so it fits on beautifully. Then again, score line is a dash line is a score line, and then the other pieces you snip into each little white piece, so as on here. Each one is a cut, and as long as you cut right to the end, you're not going to have a problem actually assembling. Okay, so same again, I'm going to start a little bit each side, and I'm sure you've all got the idea now that as long as you've cut your tabs, and I do spread the glue out like so, right to this edge, right to the tip there. And like I say, as you come further round, as you can see here, when they come up, they actually overlap each other. But that's a good thing because that helps with the structure. So same thing again, straight edge to a straight edge and a tab. Like so. I'm just going to hold that in place for a second and allow them to start sticking together. And this is a little bit smaller, narrower edge as well. So it may be that little bit easier to build with because you can actually hold it, manipulate it a little bit better. But like I say, oh, the lovely Andrew said in my ear, he says, we have made the most complicated box. Yes, we have. Like so, manipulating it round. Patience. If nothing else, it will teach us patience when we're working with wet glue, which isn't a bad thing, is it? So now, pull those tabs down exactly as I did before. Glue on as many as you want because, like I say, and I'm going to go the other side as well because once you've put your glue on, it's actually starting to go tacky. So it does speed up your build. There's many of you out there that are probably shouting at me saying, yes, we already know to do that. But we do have. some lovely new crafters every day joining us, which is just brilliant. So if you are new to Highlight Crafts, hello, welcome. Where have you been? Nice to have you on board with us, of course. So keeping it nice and flat. So I'm pushing it down so it's flat to the edge. Working my way around. Can't remember how much glue or where I got to on that one. So we'll work from this side as well. So if any of you are bakers, which I'm sure most of you have done this, when you do your pinching of your pastry, that's what this reminds me of. You know, when you're doing your crimping and you're pushing it all together, that's exactly what this reminds me of. So now, more glue. And it really does make a difference. And I'd like to know from some of you that are your avid crafters, it does help spreading it out like this. Okay, leaving it in one blob in the middle of the tab. It adheres quicker, and you've got a stronger adhesion because the glue is distributed across the whole of the surface, not just on that little dot that you've, you know, if I go like that and just leave it, that's not helping your project very much really, because it'll spread out to a certain degree, but it's certainly not going to go to the edges of your tabs. Okay. So again, best glue spreader in the world is your fingers. Spin it round. And again, I'm doing exactly the same pinching technique. So I'm pinching that round like so. Do the same on this edge. And then that tab, that last tab, I've folded the other direction. But it's still a tab to a straight edge. Okay, so I've done the pinching all the way around, glue on the tab, spread it all out and fold it back to create that edge. And then once you've glued that in place, it does actually help to stop it springing. But that tip that I gave you at the beginning as well, curving your card. If you are still struggling because you've got a really super card weight that you've used, you can curve it one way and flip it over and curve it the other way. So you get an S in your card like this, which will also help. So one more time, I'm doing my baking technique where I'm pinching my pastry edges together. And there's my lid. There's the base, which is just brilliant. Flip that over. My lid fits onto my box like so. And that is how you work for all of them, whether it be the bottle, the heart, the square, they all build identically, which is just wonderful. And then all you've got to do is the decoration. So, like I said, just a little tip, if you don't want that white edge showing, a little bit of ink around the edges, maybe a little bit of ink before you start and then also after. If you want the decoration on both insides, so when you undo it, it's also coloured, just print them double-sided. So thank you for coming along. I hope that helps with the build and the education for this particular USB. You all take care and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.